Hey, this is Steven from Legit PC, and welcome to my review of Rekoil. So we're going to take a look at the graphics settings. There's a lot of graphics settings in here, plenty of things that you could play with. It even includes percentage slider bars there, you see. So that's really cool when they have pull-down boxes for settings that you might recognize from other games. And other times they have bars that you could slide in order to pick what you want. Just slide it up and down to better like get it exactly what you want. And this game runs on Unreal Engine 3, I believe. Yeah, Unreal Engine 3, and the new Unreal Engine 4 is coming out, but it's running on Unreal Engine 3, and the game's highly centered around their modding community, because they include the Unreal Engine editor with all their assets in it, so you can create other game content and have your own maps to load onto your own servers, which this is a dedicated server game. So now we're going to go over the customization here, and you see some different character selections, and that's, like I said, with the modding community and things like that. This game is very simple, but yet they have all of the parts in it to make it a really convincing game, and to have things expanding. So, you know, they could have people make their own characters for it, you know, maybe even their own guns, skinning their own guns, modeling their own guns. And for people like me that want to get into game design and game creation, it's really quite cool to have a game that you could go into and use their assets to get experience with the Unreal Engine editor and create your own maps and see how those maps work to get a better environmental design or level design skill. But I just added this in here just so you could see, you know, some of the things that they have in here. It's basically got 5 per each set, so 5 assault rifles, 5 SMGs, 5 LMGs, 5 shotguns, 5 pistols, and a rocket launcher, as well as you saw 2 different types of knives and 2 different types of grenades. Now, talking about the compatibility with this, I have heard from some friends that this game does not work on their system, and I don't know why that is exactly, because you'll see that you could get a good 120 frames in-game maxed out, so it's definitely not a performance issue. So they do have a couple compatibility issues. I don't know if it's in code or if it's just an issue with the Unreal Engine. It would answer that probably this game might have problems if you do have problems with other Unreal Engine games. It seems like for some reason you have only problems with that engine, then it might be because of the engine. But I've had friends say that it crashes about every time that they switch a map. But you can see just the massive amounts of guns and things like that they have in here. As well as you see down there they have the paint. Another cool thing that is missing in a lot of games is that when you select something and you hover over the next one, you see that it has that negative. So it will tell you what the difference between the 2 guns are with damage, range, fire rate, all that different kinds of things. Which I think that they're missing that in some games. And also, I know that this is a newer dev. This is by Plastic Piranha. And this is their first game. It's got some cool things. It's got some things that hold it back. So this review is also gonna have quite a bit of other content. Basically more gameplay showing all the maps, because that's the big part of this game is, you know, the maps and how many maps it has. I think out of launch this game had 10 maps. So it's, you know, infinitely customizable, because then the players could also customize their own map. So here we go. We're into a game here, and I noticed that trash can was missing compared to previous compared to the day one. But you can see it's really smooth, and I can't really read here doing the voiceover, but I think it says like 70 or 80 frames per second, which is perfectly fine, especially if you have it on VSync. But like I said, like I say all the time, on all of first-person shooter games for me, usually I'll have it VSync off. Here I'm spawning with an SMG just to show you guys a little bit of the different guns here. You see here that there's basically a gun for everybody, you know, whatever gun you like, they got it. And so here SMG is pretty cool. I usually go with when I was playing this assault rifle. I put a decent amount of time into it already. And I put in what? Let me just check to see how much time I put into it. I put in 2 hours on it, so that's pretty good. But I would like to also mention that this game also does not have a single player, so they didn't really mess around too much with the single player and what you need for the story. They just, you know, centered around having the editor work, so people could edit edit the maps and things like that to load on their own servers, as well as, you know, the net code, and there's really not much lag at all. And I could be playing on UK servers or whatever, having 300 ping, and not have any problems with lag. But then again, also, I don't like the sniper class too much in this game. I can't really use it too well. It's probably because the aiming mode, how the mouse is just not my cup of tea. It's not too smooth. It's kind of choppy. Not like some other games that I played recently where the mouse is almost unusable. And it's really hard to play on.
Come on, we can't lose this.
But you will find it frustrating at sometimes, especially when you don't like how the mouse is. And
we can't lose this.
And you know, you keep getting killed by some guy that's really good at sniper rifle, like you see here. You see, it's not you know, super complex game. They tried to go to, you know, getting that free looking type multiplayer, you know, where you don't have to have super crazy painted on digital textures or have stuff rounded, have way too many polygons on scene to have you know, drop a whole bunch of frames and things like that. So they went with you know, an engine that is very tested and you know, set up to where a lot of people can play it, and on many different systems. Like I said, you could maybe even get, depending on your resolution, if your resolution is less than 1080, you could probably even get like a 630 or 640 to even do this. Even like a $30 graphics card or even an APU from AMD will play this game no problem. So if you have, you know, problems playing a game such as Call of Duty or whatever because of the graphics, then I would go with something like this, because, you know, this is pretty cool to play on a rainy day, or on a computer. Well, for me it would be a rainy day, but for you, if you can't play some of the high high dollar production games where they had modelers working all the time, getting everything perfectly round, then this game is pretty streamlined for you. It's it's ready to be picked up and played. There's no single player mess around with. You're playing just for the multiplayer, which I think I got it from Green Man Gaming for about $10. And then it was $10.49, and I had a $10 credit, so it cost me 49 cents. So it's definitely pretty good for 49 cents. You can see here that there's also another big problem with this is, like you said, if you're into games that have perks and kill streaks and things like that and attachments, this isn't your game, because there's no perks, there's no attachments, there's no kill streaks, there's no death streaks. It's pretty, plain and simple, and it's not a game that you get for graphical entertainment. I mean, it's a cheap man's Call of Duty, or similar to maybe a dumbed down Call of Duty, or whatever you want to call it. But it's pretty similar to like maybe a high-res Counter-Strike with multiple different types of game modes. So here we're on another map, and like I said, a big part of this game is the maps. And the maps itself, like I said, from launch, I believe there was 10. So very high. And then of course, it's customizable after that. And here's the grenade. Because day one I couldn't figure out how to use the grenade, but the grenade is just you hit 4. So, let's get to the bad portion. So, the bad portion is that this game is definitely dying very, very, very quickly. It's similar to what we saw with Red Saber, except for that was a little different because of some of the multiplayer problems and how they treated their Kickstarter backers, which I wasn't one anyways. This wasn't Kickstarted. It was just, I'm pretty sure it wasn't Kickstarted. Anyways, I checked this morning, and there was maybe 2 people online. I mean, not this morning. I checked about an hour ago, and an hour ago it was 3 o'clock. And there was not a single person online. There's 2 people online out of the whole game. And that was on the server browser. It was ordered from highest players to lowest players, and I saw 2 people on a server and then 0 people on a server. So I don't know if this game's gonna survive it, because the PC, I know PC's the main indie type, platform, but maybe Xbox is with their arcade more indie type, because it seems that it's not too, that PC isn't holding their indie games too well. That it's only allowing, large studios to have a place in the market, which is kind of depressing, I guess you could say, because I want to be an indie developer and I'm working on apps myself, but that's for mobile. But I would like to go to my native system, which has always been, PC. But it just seems that it's not holding these types of multiplayer games. So it seems that games need to be pushed into a new genre in order to make space, because the first-person shooter genre is pretty saturated. And there's nothing wrong with it either. You see, it's cheap. It's a pretty cheap game, $10 on Green Man Gaming, and you can get a really, really good game. No, it's not developed by 2K, Activision, or whatever. But it's just having a problem keeping its place inside the market and have enough content. So with that said, I would say that the game is probably not worth even the $10 because there's no one to play with. It's having a similar meltdown, sort of just like Red Saber was, where it was dead. Probably Red Saber even has more than Recoil right now. And I mean, if you're really, really curious, let me pull it up right now and I'll look into it. Recoil. Give me 1 second. So we got two people on the server, one person on the server, another one person on the server. So right now there is 4 players online in the whole world. And it's 4 o'clock. So actually, it's 4 o'clock right on the dot. And there's no one on. That's pretty bad, especially on a weekend, on a Sunday.
Killing machine.
So unfortunately, I think that this one's probably going to not survive this initial launch here. Alright, so I'm not gonna drag the review out any farther than this. I'm gonna do this one a little differently than how I usually do my reviews, because usually I have the image at the end or whatever. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to basically allow you to just watch the rest of the video if you want to watch it, or leave if you don't want to watch it, if you made it this far. So I'll go into my final thoughts. The big part of this game is the maps and the customization, which I really like to see, but I think it's just fallen to the wayside to maybe the indie development, how the indie games are received by PC is changing. It's developing into a new monster to where we want to see different genres of different types of games for all different types of people. When the first person shooter, I mean, look at this map. This map is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with this game, and if there were people on it, I would play it, because kind of getting old. Call of Duty is kind of getting old, and I enjoy the pace of this game. It's not too fast, not too slow. There's no kill streaks or attachments. You find the gun you like and you go with it. And it'd be a cool game to see tournaments on, especially when it's got humor and things like that. So, I mean, if it had a bigger viewership, then I would host tournaments on it, or things like that. But yeah, so it's unfortunate that I think this game is definitely falling by the wayside, and there's not too much that the developers can do about it besides giving it away for free, which obviously is not going to happen. Yeah, so In review, got a lot of guns, about 5 for each class, so maybe like 50 guns. And the devs are very, very supportive of their game. They have it's written on Unreal Engine 3. It's got the Unreal Engine editor for you to edit your own maps, and probably even more than that, gun skins, camos, things like that. What else? Like I said, the maps got 10 maps from launch, even more if you want to edit your own maps. Got dedicated servers, great netcode. There's very little lag that you could recognize, even if you have up to 300 ping. You're playing with people in the UK, there's no problem. Or if you're in the UK, you're playing with people in the US, there's no problem with that. But yeah, so the game is great. I loved it. It was $12 on, or it was $10 on Green Man Gaming, and probably $15 everywhere else. It's a great deal, and it's a great game. I hope to see it rise from the ashes, because like I said, I checked just a couple minutes ago, and it was 4 people online in the whole world playing it at 4 o'clock on a Sunday. So, hopefully this game rises from the ashes and we see more. I'll be keeping my eye on it, and let me know what you guys think.
We are leading the fight.
So yeah, I guess I'll cut it there. Just kind of disappointed that this game isn't where it should be, especially how I'm very passionate about indie development, and would like to see more. So this has been Steven from Legit PC, and I'd like to thank you for watching my review of Rekoil. If you want to watch the rest of this footage here, then go ahead and continue watching. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video, and take it easy. Later.
Now let's finish them off. We are leading the fight. We're in the lead. Now let's finish them off. Killing machine. fish in a barrel.